Here we have what is called a tank. So it's just a built-up mound that cattle ranchers or homesteaders would make in order to capture snow melt and rainfall and use it to water the crops or the herd. So you can tell it's, dry as a bone. There's no water in there. I mean, if you were to dig deep enough, there would probably be water that soaked through, but there's not a whole lot of snow. There's none up here. We're at close to 8,000 feet of elevation. It's April the 4th, and yeah, the roads and everything, no snow whatsoever. This looks like what would be a source for the water to go into, so it's, a little creek of some sort. But yeah, this is old cattle chutes, and here we are continuing on the Arizona Trail and the Kaibab Plateau. Well, this is the remnants of what appears to be an old mining operation, as far as I can tell. You gotta assume that the entrance is right over there, with it being slid rocks, or maybe even here. But they excavated out a deep portion of this area in the hopes of looking for who knows what it could be. Copper, gold, asbestos, silver, whatever you can think of. Seeing some signage up there. I'm not sure if I can really get to that, but this is just off of the Arizona Trail. I noticed it, and there's a little Forest Service road that I took to get over into here, so that's my assumption. I'll have to look into it. I'm not too familiar with the deposits of certain minerals on this neck of the woods. I'm just assuming that there's probably, or if there was, maybe an operation to find something like gold, copper, silver, or even asbestos, but I'll have to look into that more later when I get back to civilization. For now, I'm just going to continue hiking. Here is one of the largest organisms that we know of. Well, generally speaking, the species. The aspen tree is unique in that all of these little shoots, these trees that they look like, are probably all within the same root structure, interconnected, and they spread out for however long. There's the largest one that is recorded in Utah that's massive. I mean, there's several acres, but looks like we have somebody who is on the trail. This is day 4 for them, so gotta imagine they were hiking from the north rim down south, or I'm sorry, the northern border of Arizona, Utah, southward towards the completion of the Arizona Trail in good old Mexico, Arizona, near the Coronado National Monument outside of Sierra Vista. So really fascinating, really great history here. This is an 800-mile long trail. If I were to continue going down the trail straight ahead, I would end up keep going 800 miles to the border of Mexico, climbing and descending several Mount Everests in the process. It's one of the best well-maintained hiking trails in the nation and probably the world. So it's absolutely beautiful. Awesome ponderosa pines mixed in with a lot of different species of trees here. So this right here is a species of willow. I'm not too sure if it's the same stuff throughout the rest of the country, but the branches have acetaminophen or aspirin in it. The roots do. You can usually find it by water, which if it were a good winter or there was a lot of snow melt, this whole area would be running, having a bit of water. But that doesn't mean that there isn't water down below the surface of the ground. It's probably a little deeper. The roots would have to go down searching for it, but you can usually find this and other forms of shrubbery like this little dead one there. But these are berry bushes, I believe. Yeah, this looks like The berry bushes, they're not in season as it is only April, but once fall comes around and maybe they get a little more water, they'll be there. But yeah, just the water would flow probably right down through here and into gullies and basins. But we turned around, we're gonna head back. We just wanted to do a quick little hike today. Have to get back home, which is about 5 hours away. So we're just gonna walk back to the trailhead and get back on the road, see if we see any cool stuff along the way. On windier days like today, if you're out hunting, you want to be mindful of the direction of where the wind is traveling, because wherever the wind is traveling, if there's animals that you're looking for hunting are downwind from you, they're going to smell your scent. And trust me, human scent is a whole strong, unique scent that these animals will pick up right away on. So for today, the wind is coming from this direction and blowing there. So I believe that's just going north to south. And so I'm heading east. And if I wanted to spot an animal, I would look to the north side of me, because that way, one, my scent isn't being caught and I can have a better idea. Obviously, when you are hunting, you want to be quiet. You want to make sure your steps and any loose noises that you have aren't causing issues as well. But that's just something to be very considerate of when you're hunting, and also if you're trying to avoid animal encounters. So you know that the wind's blowing this way, so there's a chance of your scent being picked up to the south side of you in this instance. So be looking on the north side in order to observe, see any animals that you may or may not want to see. But just gorgeous trail here. Nobody's on here. I haven't seen nothing or no one. So really great times, good vibes. Looks like we have a little scat here. Not the scat pack that you're used to with the Hellcats. It kind of resembles maybe a dog. So I would make the assumption that it's either a coyote or maybe a Mexican gray wolf, but not too familiar with my scat. But yeah, it's dried, so it's been here for quite some time, so it's not relatively recent. And I'm making a big enough commotion and ruckus where I don't have any worries about encountering them. And if that does come down to it, I only got this just in case. So, but anyhow, let me put this back in my holster and continue walking. So, this little excavated type thing, I might be led to believe it could be a small little bear den, but chances are it's not. But you'll see these types of things out in the middle of the forest where it's just a massive amount of dirt excavated, or sometimes it's like a hollowed or like a fallen tree where the root ball is showing, and then underneath is where the roots were, so it's that bit of ground that's already excavated out from the tree falling over. So that's sometimes a telltale sign of a bear den. So they like to get underground and dig themselves in to, insulate from the elements. And caves are another great spot for bears a lot of times. Or if you go to Sequoia National Park there in California, they have those massive sequoia redwoods that the circumference of one can be 20 or 30 feet. So when they burn up and they hollow out inside, you can easily find a bear in there. Or you can find there's at one point or another, the natives of that time period, 16 to 1700s, would live in those trees, the hollow burnt out ones, because it was so spacious and large enough for habitation. And just really fascinating how cultures and animals adapt to their surroundings. So I'm kind of keeping a lookout for maybe some more of those little bear holes, as I like to call them. But so far we're almost back to the trailhead, about a mile or so, and we'll be done. Here we can see the devastating effects of the Dragon Bravo fire, which was this past year in 2025. It's super fresh burn scars here. We have a whole host field of trees burnt. You can see out in the distance as well that on that hill over back there that's burned, crisped. So this fire was absolutely massive. It actually damaged one of the lodges that is in Jacob Lake and you know, towards the north rim of the Grand Canyon. So just gonna be absolutely mind-boggling. I mean, you look here and so the soil is just so sandy, so crisp. I mean, burnt. Looks like some old beer cans from the bygone era, a lot of bottles and stuff. So the degeneracy of the past is unveiled here. I mean, gosh, you know they're old because they have the pull tabs. So yeah, pretty awful. I mean, this whole hillside would have had, you know, at least grass and a base layer underneath, and you know, as well as all these trees that are burnt up. But you know, it just is so hot, so intense that everything was taken up. So it looks, you know, completely otherworldly compared to where we were just hiking at, with lush green vegetation and tall trees. But what will eventually happen as a result of the fire is we'll have more grasses taking over and actually start to green up, and over decades and however many hundreds of years it may take, this forest will grow back stronger and better than ever. But just unreal getting to see this. So here is the Colorado River. Navajo Bridge up ahead is Glen Canyon and Lee's Ferry, which if you keep going further north into the river, following the river, you'll get to Lake Powell, and then further up to the very headwaters of the Colorado in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. But this mighty river is responsible for drinking water and irrigation and agriculture of 40 million some odd people in the Southwest. It is severely strained. I probably can't really tell by this, but it is lower than it ever has been in ever recorded time. So that's for at least the past 150 years. But we'll see what happens in the next few years, how water is managed for this vital lifeline in the Southwest.